Recently, Liv Morgan thought back on a plotline she was a part of that was cut. This 30-year-old celebrity is hoping WWE makes greater use of it. In December 2019, at Lana's wedding to Bobby Lashley, the current Women's World Champion was suddenly revealed to be her on-screen girlfriend during an edition of Raw. Sadly, the plot didn't progress much, as the Almighty eventually became WWE Champion before divorcing Lana, who is now known as CJ Perry. Liv Morgan reflected on the plot point in a recent interview with Inside the Ropes, expressing her disappointment that the Stamford-based corporation didn't make more of it. The WWE Women's Tag Team Championship was defended by Trish Stratus and Becky Lynch against Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez on the April 10, 2023 edition of Raw. Current Judgment Day members were victorious in the match. Having WWE Hall of Famer Trish Stratus as a ring partner was a really weird experience, according to Liv. One of the most prominent female stars in the business right now is Liv Morgan. Over 180 days have passed since she became the Women's World Champion. Thanks to her fearlessness, boundless energy, and determination, Liv Morgan has risen to become one of the most popular talents in WWE. Her meteoric rise to the position of SmackDown Women's Champion has captivated audiences across the globe, beginning when she was a youngster from New Jersey with wrestling dreams. However, Liv has, like many famous people, had periods in her career when the creative choices made her question, what if? For example, there was the time she was dragged into a divisive narrative in WWE, one that fans debated for weeks, but then concluded with a cliffhanger and plenty of unsolved mysteries. The contentious viewpoint was recently discussed by Liv Morgan, who shared her views, feelings, and career-altering regrets. While Liv Morgan was undergoing a character change during the time the plot in question was unfolding, it was towards the end of 2019. Liv made her television comeback at the wedding of Lana and Bobby Lashley, which was one of the most talked about parts of WWE Raw history. After she had been absent for months, Liv revealed her affair with Lana at the wedding, which was a startling turn of events. The news shocked the audience. While the storyline was an unusual foray into LGBTQ+ inclusion by WWE, fans had different feelings about how it was carried out. Some praised the daring approach, but others said it relied too much on shock value and lacked substance. There was no follow-up or conclusion to the angle, which blew out what would have been a groundbreaking plot point for WWE. While discussing the storyline's repercussions and lost possibilities, Liv Morgan recently gave an interview in which she pondered on it. When I look back at that storyline, I think, wow, we had something really unique and daring on our hands, said Liv. However, I would have preferred if we had made greater use of it. It would have been great to go into a genuine, significant plot that may have struck a chord with viewers. Following this, Liv spoke on her initial enthusiasm upon hearing the proposal. She was able to exhibit a new side of herself to the audience thanks to the plot, which allowed her to shed her carefree, vivacious image. The lack of a strategic approach by the creative team became apparent, nevertheless, as the angle progressed. It felt like we were building to something huge, said Liv. However, after then, it decelerated somewhat. Nothing happened, and there was no resolution. Not only is it annoying for me, but it's also disappointing for the supporters who had faith in it. Following the storyline's quick conclusion, Liv resumed participating in singles bouts, with no mention of her role in the Lana-Lashley conflict. Fans were perplexed as to why WWE had abandoned a storyline that had garnered so much attention due to the lack of cohesion. A valuable lesson was learned by Liv from the incident. It was a great lesson in flexibility, she said. Things don't always work out the way you planned them to in wrestling. Making do with what you have is often the only option. The plot may have ended suddenly, but Liv decided to concentrate on the one thing she could change, her ring performances. As she persisted, she rose up the rankings and won her first title in 2022. Among WWE fans, the Lana-Liv narrative is still up for discussion. Some thought it was a good effort to diversify WWE stories, while others thought it was too dramatic and lacking in substance. Many disappointed fans have taken to social media to voice their dissatisfaction with the lack of action. Liv Morgan and Lana had the potential to tell a groundbreaking story, One admirer remarked on Twitter. WWE completely missed the mark. Well, at least WWE gave Liv a fresh perspective, replied another admirer. Although it had its flaws, it managed to spark conversation. As for Liv, she has calmly handled the criticism from her fans. Though she admits the plot was flawed, she is grateful that it sparked discussions about the need for more diverse representation in wrestling. If nothing else, I'm glad it sparked dialogue, remarked Liv. Representation matters, and I hope that one day we'll see a storyline like this done in a way that truly does it justice. A recurrent difficulty in wrestling storytelling, balancing entertaining with meaningful narratives, was highlighted by the debate over the Lana-Liv storyline. As usual, WWE has taken heat for putting shock value ahead of substance with this angle. Nevertheless, it highlights how wrestling is changing. When it comes to delicate subjects like LGBTQ+ representation, modern fans want more subtle and genuine storytelling. Despite the storyline's shortcomings, Liv Morgan's eagerness to embrace it displays her dedication to pushing limits. This shows that she has a deep appreciation for wrestling and its ability to strike a chord with spectators. As a performer, Liv Morgan has flourished since the contentious plot. Her work ethic has garnered her admiration from both fans and colleagues, and her tenure as SmackDown Women's Champion further cemented her position as a top-tier performer. Liv wasted little time answering the question about whether or not she would be interested in continuing to explore the plot or related issues. Affirmatively, she said, "I feel like there's a lot more story to tell. With the correct narrative, the appropriate build, and the right partner, I would love to jump into the possibility again if it presents itself." At this time, Liv is focused on honing her performance skills. She is hell-bent on making the most of every second, whether she's competing for titles or trying out daring new plot points.